In the spirit of the new year, let's talk about personal development goals for 2024. Whether your goals are concrete or related to emotion, therapy can play a pivotal role. A therapist can help you create SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Not sure where to start? A therapist can guide you through stress management, anger management, and various challenges that you might be facing. Now, let me tell you about our sponsor, BetterHelp. They've made starting therapy easier and less intimidating. With over 30,000 therapists in their network, BetterHelp matches you based on your needs, preferences, and location, providing a wide range of expertise. To begin your journey, fill out a questionnaire about your challenges and therapist preferences. In most cases, BetterHelp matches you with a therapist within 48 hours. Plus, you can choose phone calls, messaging, or video chat, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Scheduling is a breeze, and if you ever feel your therapist isn't the right fit, switch with a click of a button at no additional cost. No need to break up with your therapist and start the search anew. Join over 4 million people who've used BetterHelp to start living a healthier, happier life. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/JMC. That's betterhelp.com/JMC. Clicking that link helps support this channel, and it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. Remember, therapy is about your well-being, and BetterHelp is here to support you every step of the way. Thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Take care of yourself, and here's to a year of growth and positive change.
I do it too to inspire my kids to go for their dreams.
Yeah.
Since, they're seeing me struggle and, but always just creating. So they're like, okay, if mom can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely.
And this is a really nice example. When my son was in the hospital, I actually mentioned, I made a comment. I was like, I think I'm gonna stop creating for a little bit. And he was like, no, mom, like, you crazy? He's like, that's you.
Yeah.
That's a part of you. You can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm worried about you. And he's like, no, mom, go back home and create something.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries.
As soon as I get home from work, I start setting everything up.
Yeah, no, and I like to take my time, so
Yeah.
I'm like an hour away.
Okay, yeah, well, I figured,
Yeah.
because are you out past Harrisburg, or are you?
So, where Hanover is?
I know of it. I don't know
Oh,
where
okay.
it's at, though.
Yeah, I'm like the little town before Hanover, so it's New Oxford.
Okay, so you drove an hour.
It's like 30 minutes out of York. Probably.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not too
Okay.
bad though, and the drive here was
Yeah.
it was smooth. It wasn't
You just
too
take
bad.
30 the whole way in?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Check. Okay, yeah, good. So, yeah, I knew that. I did see where you were from in your bio, but I kept thinking it was Harrisburg. But nonetheless, I knew you were
Yeah.
coming from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful, because I know this time of day is tricky, but with a full-time job and everything, with a
Yeah.
family, I'm like,
No, of course.
this is
I
the best time I
understand.
can do it.
Yeah.
But getting you on the podcast was a goal of mine. I've been following
Yeah.
your content, I think, for about a year or so now.
Wow. Okay.
I think it was Instagram. I was trying to remember. It was either Instagram or Facebook. It was a reel, though.
Yeah.
A reel, what are they called? Not shorts, but a reel or a story or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was the Chicago Bulls and the Air Force Ones. And I was like, this is dope, because I'm a Bulls fan. So I think that's why I
Nice.
got mixed up in my
Right.
the algorithm.
That's cool.
So talk to me about, let's start with the painting on the kicks, because I know that you also do other types of art, but was this always part of your bag, or was that something you got into later on?
Right. So I started out just doing paintings on like canvas.
Yeah.
And then it progressed to like murals in restaurants. And then, so like I've only been customizing kicks for the past 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's all thanks to a client of mine because she's like, "Hey, look, I know you can draw, you can paint. Can you paint something on these kicks?" And I was like, let me try.
Yeah.
And it just took off from there.
Were you nervous about, like, one of the things that I draw? This isn't me trying to plug myself here, but I draw a little, and it's been a long time. But when I was watching you do that, I was like, that's you're drawing on kicks, so it's
Yeah.
like it isn't like something you can kind of like start over with.
Right.
Am I right? Yeah.
Right. The good thing is I use like a leather paint, and it's
Okay.
easy to remove. You know, if I
Like
mess
it
up.
peels off. No?
Yeah. Well, I use like acetone.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
And it really does like help just to remove it right away before it settles.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't know what type of paint to use.
Okay,
I just
yeah.
went into, I'm like that. I just like to just give it a try and
Yeah.
see, I don't know.
Well, I didn't
So
think
I did
about
my
that.
research,
Yes. Okay. So it's you said leather paint.
Yeah.
I never
leather
even knew.
paint.
Like I was assuming it was like some. Obviously,
Like
it wasn't
acrylics
acrylic.
or,
Yeah.
No, it has to be like leather paint. If it's like, the sneakers usually like leather. Yeah.
Is it
material.
once you got the different type of paint? Is it still somewhat the same? Or are you finding that you have to change your rhythm a little bit with the painting because
yeah.
of the type of paint you're using?
It's a little like runnier than acrylic paint. So, yeah, I'm trying to think when I first like tried the paints. I'm trying to think, but yeah, like it went pretty smooth. I don't know how
Yeah.
the transition from paintings
Yeah,
to
that was one of the things
sneakers.
when I was watching. I think what I saw was like I was watching you do it. I could be wrong. I feel like I was seeing you do it, and it was sped up. I was watching the
Yeah.
process, and I was like the first thing I thought it was like, if I was me, I'm screwing it up. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and you're doing it for a client. So like, but you say you like to jump in.
Yeah.
Do you get nervous doing what you're doing? Or
I
yeah?
do.
Yeah,
I do.
That's
It
that's an
gets-
honest answer. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, like if you saw like a reel is like I use to speed up. I could be working on something for like 8 hours straight, and that just speeds it up for like a 30-second
Yeah.
reel. So yeah, I try to just like show people from the start because I draw the image or the design first,
But okay.
and then I go in with the paint.
Are
And
you
it's
doing that
all-
freehanded? Are you doing that freehanded? or are you-
Some of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and then some of them I do depending on what the client wants because
Yeah.
they might send me I want this logo, so I just like look at the logo, draw it on there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty spot on. They
Yeah.
look dope.
And I don't use stencils.
Oh, okay, that was
Yeah.
another thing I was trying to get. I see because I know people like use stencils or they'll kind of grit it out, which is cool too. Because I know you have to keep everything symmetrical.
Yeah. yeah.
But
I
on
think I have-
kicks, it's a little different.
I think I have just the eye. I don't know the
Yeah.
vision for it because
Yeah.
it did from canvas to sneaker. It just like minimized the space to work in. So
Cool.
I'm really detailed though, and I have this patience to do it.
Okay.
So I think it just all works out. Yeah, I don't know.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Check. I just got this weird feeling. Can you do me a favor? I don't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. Can you yell in that for me real quick? Just
Hello?
Something.
Hello?
okay. Yeah.
Yeah?
You're there.
Okay.
For whatever reason, I just don't see you when you're talking, but and I have this fear.
Oh, okay. So you see if it's recording?
See you here now that we're talking, but I'm gonna just turn this up a little more. I'm sorry.
No worries.
I've had one interview, only one, that didn't record the whole time.
No.
So ever since then, I have this fear.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, it's gonna happen again.
Do
Okay,
I need
so
to be closer, or I'm good? Like
actually, you know what? It's not your fault. It's probably the way I set that mic.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just gonna take the time to adjust it instead of just stressing it the whole time. These microphones you have to like talk directly into. One day
them?
I'll get the mics that
Oh,
I'll
okay,
get the
okay.
big expensive mics.
This is all new to me, so yeah.
I'm getting there. But yeah, so you said you have to be patient. Yeah, so like everything I'm seeing is like, and again, there's other types of art that I've seen you share, but that's what caught my eye. And so I'm assuming patience as an artist is very important. That I do know. But considering the different types of mediums that you're using, the obviously the kicks. When you get one done, you're sending them off. You're right? They're not local, or some orders local, and some are.
Some are local, and some like out in the West Coast.
Yeah. Okay. So you got your kicks out on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Are you seeing them? Like, are they sending pictures of them? Like, are they wearing these kicks?
Yeah.
Are they? Is it for display only? Like,
so some have like received them and they're like, oh, I can't wear these. These are too nice. I don't want to mess them up.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know, it's like a work of art. So, and I just laugh and I'm like, yeah, you can wear them. You know, I like seal them with like waterproof sealer.
Okay.
And there's another one that like, it helps with like, from keeping it like scratched.
Okay. Scratch resistant.
Yeah. Scratch resistant, or to protect the paint. So they can get them wet or, you know, all that. So yeah, they're just like, I just laugh because some of them, I do get the comments like, I can't wear these. These are too nice. But then they do send me pictures. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I love. That's what touches my heart a lot.
Yeah.
That they appreciate, you know, the work that I do, and they trust in me to, you know, create something from like, I know they have envisioned something, but then they give me the free, how do you say, free,
the free
freedom?
reign to,
freedom of like creativity
Yeah.
for me to come up with something for
Okay,
them
so
too.
that, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that goes to show like that they've already seen the work that you've done, so they're comfortable letting you kind of do your thing.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a process to accept that, because I'm like, okay, like what I am now, like years ago, I was always doubting myself. I didn't like believe in myself.
So your self-confidence is
it's really grown
with
like just the years.
Yeah. Well, I would think too, like that kind of ties into my next question, because when you're doing something like the sneakers compared to the other styles and formats of art, do you get a different sense of like, not pride, but like accomplishment, that sense of like, is that a different feeling for you than anything else that you've done, or is it all the same?
No, it's it's
different.
Yeah. Every, like you said, I feel like I accomplished something new, and I just keep growing. And then I want to like keep finding new ways of creating. I don't know, different, like the sneaker world, you know, it's really big. And I wasn't a sneakerhead myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, my children are, my oldest is, and so I learned from them.
Yeah.
And then I just started doing my research, and I'm like, wow, this is really, really like big out here, the sneaker world. And, you know, and if I could get in there somehow, I mean, with, you know, starting customizing sneakers, I'm like, that'd be dope, just to grow in it and just see where it goes.
Yeah, and the market, like you said, it's huge. And then when you tie in, because I've been watching your presence on social media, the content you're creating, that's also really good too. So it's like you're really tying in your artwork into the content world, which is just bringing more attention. Has it been helping you as far as getting people eyes on the artwork that you're doing?
Yeah, it has. And a lot of people don't know, like I do it all myself. My videos, I edit my videos, I record, and they're like, no way. They think I have like a team. Yeah. You know, the only team I do have is like that takes care of the back end of my website and stuff. But other than that, I do everything, and it's a lot.
No, I know that firsthand.
It's a lot, and you know, technology just keeps advancing, and I'm like, oh, so there's something new out. Oh my, okay, I gotta, you know, just keep learning. see what's out there to.
Well, putting how hard it is to decide, how are you when it comes to embracing technology and the different ways that you can share your artwork on social media? Do you like embracing that and the challenge of learning new things, or was it more like, if I have to go this route because it helps me, I will?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
that's
it
what
looks
was.
like, I said, your content's good. So if you're
good,
doing, because
yeah.
there's a lot, I think what I'm trying to get at also is like, I think people underestimate the power of content if it's done correctly. So if people are saying you must have a team, and you're like, no, I'm not. That's because you are you paying attention to what other people are doing? Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I take inspiration from others, like other artists that are like big, like doing it big, in the sneaker world and everything. So I'm like, okay, and then TikTok shows you too. It's just like, and I just opened up a TikTok probably like a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a whole different gambit too.
I know. So and you learn so much. So I'm just like, okay. So I just go with the flow.
Yeah. The culture. I noticed the culture in the presentation, the colors, the vibe. It's just it really is dope, and I feel like even though you're going about it the way you're going about it, and you're learning along the way, it all seems very natural. So you must be doing something right, because it looks good. You said you've got a website, you've got somebody helping you on the back end. When did in your life this transition of, I mean, it's a two-part question. I'll ask the first question I have is like, when did this start for you, drawing and art, and when did that become the business venture that you're in now?
So I guess art has always been in me since my youth. I've just been creative.
Yeah.
I was always just like drawing all the time in school, at home. So I took art classes like in middle school and in high school, and that's where like my passion like sparked.
Okay.
And I had just amazing teachers, and they were like, oh, you got something going on here. Like they would see just how creative I was. But I never went to college for it. Like I'm self-taught.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey in itself. I would say, and then so I was a drawer, and then in 2011, 12 is when I picked up a paintbrush for the first time.
Really?
And I just taught myself how to
mix. That's only, I'm 13 years now.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, you were drawing up to that point with like charcoal, pencil?
Yeah. Pencils or colored pencils. I used to just love colored pencils.
Yeah.
Like a black ball point pen.
Yeah.
Do the outline and stuff. So I would just do sketches.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, around that time is when I was like, let me try painting. I don't know. And I just bought some paintbrushes, and I always I started with acrylic paints. I never got into oil.
Okay.
Because I heard that's a whole other, like it takes longer to dry and it's just like more messy. So I'm like, I just stuck to acrylic. But I taught myself how to use, paintbrush and then mix my colors, and I wasn't even into like YouTube or anything. So I just I don't know.
So you're doing this on your own without even watching.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You ever think about how cool that is? Because I'm on YouTube for everything.
Yeah, now I am too.
Okay, fair enough.
Like we were talking about content and stuff. I learned so much from YouTube now too. But before, no. Like I just remember, like I said, my art classes in middle school, high school is when I think we did do like some painting, but not too much. And that's where it was just like, let me get into that again and see if I
Did you grow up in Hanover, or is this?
In New Oxford. So I graduated in New Oxford. And New Oxford is very like a really small country. Yeah. Like town. Yeah. And then I'm trying to think. I moved to York a couple years. I'm trying to see, like in 2008 maybe, to York. Okay. So I lived in York for about 10 years or so. and that's where there was like an art scene growing.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like street artists like coming up, and I was like, oh, and I've always been into like graffiti too. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah. Yeah.
just like admire it. I never like tried myself, but I just
Okay.
always loved watching like
Even now, you haven't tried tagging something just to see if
um
you could, if you got it
not like like drawing
like on a
lettering.
building or something like that.
No,
No.
not no, no, but just like the lettering,
Yeah.
kind of like imitating like the
Sure.
graffiti lettering and stuff. That's pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the cool thing, like one of the things I was thinking was, like I was thinking about, it's been a while since I did it and since I drew, and I mainly was just colored pencil.
Yeah.
Some charcoal. I love doing charcoal.
Yeah.
But I would like to get into painting, but I didn't know how, and listening to you kind of just say, I just did it. But
Yeah.
trying new things and being curious and honoring that curiosity as opposed
Right.
to being like, no, let me not. Has that always been who you are? Just willing to just be like, let's see how
Yeah.
this works. Yeah.
I've always been like that. I just feel like you continue to keep growing as an
Yeah.
artist. You just keep learning.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm just that type of person that just loves to learn, loves to grow, like personally and then like, professionally. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
How long have you been doing the art as a business?
As a business,
Yeah.
4 years.
Okay.
Full time.
Okay. Full
Yeah.
time. Okay. So talk to me about that then. That
Mm-hmm.
transition into.
Yeah. So I've always worked, I've had full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking before COVID hit, so it was 2019.
That's 2019.
I
Yeah.
had a full-time job working for the community. So I was like a community health worker,
Okay.
but I did art on the side, like as a hobby.
Yeah.
And my coworkers and just family, like relatives, friends, they're like, oh, you draw, you make art. And I'm like, yeah, it's for fun.
Yeah.
So I just started posting on Facebook like my work, and they're like, wait, you're an artist? And I'm like, yeah. So then I just started sharing it on Facebook
Yeah.
just for fun, and people are like, wait, that's good, like you should keep going, keep doing it. And I'm like, okay. So then I juggled like my full time, and then I was doing art, and then people started commissioning me to do like small paintings
Yeah.
for their kitchen, just like little things like that. And then people started reaching out to me in the community to like display like one painting or two at a gallery or something like
Yeah.
that. So I'm like, oh, okay, that'd be cool. And I just went for like that opportunity and just started building up. And then 2019, I remember, so it got to the point where it was getting overwhelming. Like I was juggling both full-time job, family, and
Yeah.
art. So
I'm right there.
I was like, yeah, I was like, could I do this like full time? I don't know, because like I was getting a lot of commissions coming in, and I'm like, and I'm like, it was always in the back of my head. I'm like, I don't know, and that's when that doubt, that
Yeah.
fear kind of, but it's just crazy how things happen. In 2019, I felt like, well, I'm really like spiritual too, so
Cool.
I felt God was like it given me, I don't know, like a sign or something to like go for it.
Yeah.
And at that time, with the partner that I had at the time, we were driving downtown, I remember, and there was like a for rent sign on, it was at a design shop. So it was like a print shop, and they had a little window like right beside it, which I didn't know if it was like a little mini shop beside it or something, but it said for rent.
Okay.
And I was looking for someone to put my artwork on t-shirts. So I walked in there into that shop, and I like met the owner, and they're really like nice and everything, and he was able to put my work on t-shirts. And I just happened to look over, and I'm like, oh, you have a little space for rent? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm the owner of this all this shop, but then I have a little like it's like a little mini shop right beside it.
Okay.
You know, with its own window to like the outside of
Yeah.
Main Street. And I don't know what, but something like was like, you could have a little art shop in there or something like that. I don't know, just some
Yeah.
thought like that came to mind. And then I asked him how much he wanted and everything, and I was like, I went for it. I was like, would you have an artist there, like just as a like a little art studio slash, you know, store or something like that. He's like, yeah. He was really cool about it. He's like, I have a lot of friends and, you know, that are creators and all that. So yeah, I ended up renting that spot, and that was my first art shop in downtown York.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the window was your way to display your
Yes.
artwork.
So I would place like my little canvases, or I used to paint on like jackets too.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would just display them. So we would get like a lot of people in downtown, like walking around for like First Friday.
Yeah.
And then they started like coming in and checking my work out. And it was a whole year. Like, I remember I had a ribbon cutting ceremony and everything. It was a whole year that I was just blown away by the amount of support I was getting from the community.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we never seen this type of work, like art before. I don't know. They used to think I was from like New York or somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm from a little town, you know, just like 30 minutes away. But yeah, the support is like what really
that's pretty cool. I love like it goes back to like what I was saying, like there's a vibrant feel with your artwork that I can understand why people especially from a very rural area may look at that, be like, well, that's cool, we've never seen something like that before. But to bring a flavor and a style like that that's your own. You mentioned the spiritual side of yourself, and that you felt that there was a message from God. This moment, I know what you're talking about. I feel like there's times in life where you're just kind of like inclined to do something and you don't know why. But you know, going into that shop, seeing it going into it, like the domino effect of things that started to kind of happen afterwards. Did you notice that in the moment, or was it kind of like after things had transpired, you were kind of like, wow, like this past year, look at these things that took place? Because sometimes it's hard to notice it when you're in it.
I believe so, with the time. And then COVID hit, and I had to shut down.
I was gonna get into that, because I know this is leading up to 2020. So then talk to me about when you finally realized, because I'm sure that was something you were fighting at first, was shutting it down until you were forced. Is that what it was? I mean, when everything kind of everybody, it was a ghost town. I'm sure.
It was a ghost town. I remember it was like, wow, like. And, you know, it brings fear, because you don't know what's happening out there in the world. And you just, I know everybody went through the same, you know? And it took a toll on me mentally. And, I remember it was so sad. I took a picture of it all packed up and everything. I still have that picture in the shop. And it was like a little, I'm trying to think, I don't know. It was a small little space. But it was something I built. And I was like, wow, now I gotta let it go. So
So how long did you have that space? Was it a year?
A year.
Okay.
Yep. It was a year. Yeah, a year or like 9 months or so.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough, but still,
Close to, yeah.
the dope thing about that experience, not so much COVID, but the fact that what I'm hearing anyway is what you were able to do, like that jumping into something without really knowing.
Leap of faith.
Though it seemed like though when COVID came and it did what it did, the rest of the world then had a moment of like, wait a minute, and I speak for myself where it was like,
Yep.
let me slow down here because you were forced to kind of like pay attention to your life and realize what was important,
Right.
and then a lot of people had a moment of, I don't think I want to do what I'm doing anymore.
Right.
Life is too short. That type of
Yeah.
feeling. But you had already had that experience right before then. So when COVID does come and it does what it does, and you're shutting it down, what's going through your head? Like, how are you pivoting in this moment?
How I was going to support my family, it was just like, okay, how am I gonna, this was like my only income. I had left my full-time job to, for that leap of faith and everything, and opening up a small business. It was just, I just put everything aside, and I was like, my family's first, the safety of my kids, and our health, right? So I was just like, I had that conversation with God. I'm like, it's okay, I was just grateful that I experienced that year or the 9 months in business. Yeah.
Yeah. How
How
did you go into? Because I'm sure, like, now everybody had time on their hands. A lot of people were doing a lot of podcasts. They jumped out of the water when it came to the COVID because everybody had time on their hands. So is that then when you really started getting savvy with the digital content with your artwork? Yeah.
Yeah. I continued doing art at home.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember I created, I'm trying to think how many, like 3 paintings, and I would still post them on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, I want to create pieces that have like a message of hope.
Okay.
So the one that I created where like, it was like praying hands with like roses. And it looks like a like tattoo kind of like artwork. And everybody loved it. And I'm trying to remember what I said, but it was like a message of like hope, like, to put your hope on God. Like, if, for those who believe in God and have faith that we're going to get through it, this is, it was just surreal. Like, I don't know. It felt like a movie. We just didn't know what was going to happen, Yeah.
But again, like, as I'm listening to you, I feel like, and again, hindsight's 2020. Like, everybody can look back now and be like, "Oh yeah,"
I know.
but in the moment, it was really, really freaking scary.
It was, yeah.
But to have this experience of I'm going to make the jump. Do you feel that had you not made the jump when you did, and then COVID comes into play, do you think you would have been able to jump in with the artwork as you did the year prior, or do you feel that your timing was when it was supposed to be? Yeah.
It all happened.
It's almost like if you didn't make that jump and COVID came, it probably would have derailed your journey.
Yeah, or I would have just stayed in my comfort zone and not go for my dream or my passion, which was creating. Yeah. I think it all happened for a reason.
I think that's pretty cool. You said you're a mother?
Yes.
How many children do you have again?
3.
What are their ages? Do you mind?
My oldest is 20.
Okay.
And a 14-year-old. So my son is the oldest. He's 20. And then 2 girls, 14 and 10.
Okay. So as a mother of 3.
Yeah.
So
single mom of 3.
A single mother of 3.
Yep.
You mentioned when you were working full time and the art was your hobby. it started to become overwhelming. You mentioned with the family. So
Mm-hmm.
talk to me about, like, in this moment of working full time, having a family, doing the art. I'm sure through that it was like, I really would like to do this art full time.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me about, like, that moment in your life. How busy was it for you?
It was really busy.
Yeah.
And you know, like with the job that I had in that moment, I was giving myself a lot to like we had clients too, but like I was meeting with like young pregnant moms,
Okay.
giving them like resources to like diapers. And so I'm a very affectionate, how do you say, empath.
Empathetic.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I used to feel with every situation, every client,
Yeah.
I felt like it was taking like a mental
It's mental toll on you then, I'm
me.
sure. Yeah.
Because I'm so caring and I'm like, oh, I wish I could help everybody, but you know, here are the resources. And the thing was like we wanted them to be self-efficient.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And but not just like I would get calls all the time. I ran out of diapers. I need, you know. So I was like that
Got you.
type of like caseworker. I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Yeah. So you were really hands on then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it's tough to not get emotionally attached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I saw myself getting too emotionally attached.
Because you're bringing that home, are you not?
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to turn it off, rather, I should say.
Right. And then going back to my art has actually been my healing growing up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse.
Okay.
And then later on, domestic violence survivor. Yeah.
Okay,
and,
so you've got a lot in your journey, a lot to say here.
Yeah. And art has just been there since the beginning. So I feel like...
What was it about then? Then I'll revisit this question because I already asked it, but now that I have this in context, what was it about the artwork that was releasing you from the trauma that you were experiencing?
Trauma. I don't know. I think it's therapeutic somehow. I don't know how to explain it. It was just I'm like in my zone, so I know it's like I'm giving back to myself. Like I don't know, like creating. You know,
okay.
So.
I actually really like that. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I knew I needed healing, but like creating was helping me heal. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. No, but that's that's perfectly said.
And I went to therapy and everything, but it didn't help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Therapy as a child or therapy
as
an
a child?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, growing up.
Is it if this is uncomfortable for you to talk about it,
but
as a child going to therapy, were you understanding that you were going to therapy and why you were going to therapy? As a child, understanding that, you know, as an adult, I feel like it's easier to kind of wrap your head around it.
It's like a blur.
Yeah.
Honestly. So I know I had to repeat, like, you know, my story over and over again, like I don't know how many times, but like, so it always like triggered. And I just remember just being so emotional, just an emotional child. Like, but yeah, like I felt like I was just sharing my story, but I wouldn't be getting any healing. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
But then when I was in my little art world, that's when I was just like happy, and I was like, maybe art was the childhood that was robbed from me. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say when you said that I was giving something back to myself, that's what I was going to allude to. That I feel like it seemed like the art work was giving you back your childhood in a way.
Yeah.
That I would feel that most children, survivors of that type of abuse, are robbed They're robbed of their
Yeah.
childhood,
Yeah.
of their vulnerability, their innocence.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that really does explain then, like, because when I'm looking at your artwork now, when I keep saying it's vibrant and there's a love and that is
Mm-hmm.
something that's noticeable in what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing.
Yeah.
Couple that with the fact that you said when you were doing your full-time job, how emotionally attached, how empathetic you
Mm-hmm.
were.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Considering then what you just shared with me, you mentioned also a survivor of domestic abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you're going through all of that, and then you have this full-time job, are you dealing with triggers in the work that you were doing? And if you were, how were you managing that? Or were you not? Were
Yeah.
you able to separate?
Um, I was able to separate, but you would still feel, the triggers and stuff. Some of my clients would, you could tell they were going through a domestic violence relationship, or like there
Yeah.
was domestic violence in the relationship. So I would see myself in them,
Mm.
and it was, yeah, that was hard. But I was just, they wouldn't know I went through it. I would share to some, so they can, I don't know, kind of relate.
Yeah. Have somebody that can understand what you're
Yeah, they
going through.
understand
Yeah.
what they're going through and how we could help and stuff. But um, yeah, it was hard.
How were you able to get out of you mentioned the domestic relationship, domestic abuse in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
What point in your life were you able to step out of that and find
Mm-hmm.
yourself, you know?
Yeah. So I was in this relationship for 8 years. The first 3 years were, pretty good. But then that's after the 3 years is when it started getting, it started with like verbal abuse, and then
Mm-hmm.
it went into physical. So it's sad to, like, I've healed so much, thanks to, I don't know, my faith in God. Pretty
Yeah.
much he saved me, because I got to the point where I knew I was only hurting myself just staying, and I didn't want my children to witness any more like abuse. And
Okay.
now I remember just um, crying to God and say, Lord, just take like the love and the hope that I had for this person, just take it away. Like,
Okay.
I don't see no change, and like take it away, and just, yeah, help me heal, move on,
Yeah.
and just like let go. And I I think I felt the presence, like the courage to leave.
And that's what you did. You just
And
left.
I just left. Yeah. I left and I didn't come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that when you moved to York, or like?
That was I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was when I was living in York. Mhm. And then I went back home
Yeah.
after that. Mhm.
I think one of the things that I've mentioned this before on the podcast, like um, and I'm speaking as a man. I don't know what that's like, but I'm always in awe of the strength of a woman
Mhm.
that is experiencing that in their life, and then they find the courage to leave. Because is there any time where you're like, are you looking over your shoulder when you're trying to start your new life? Is it something like,
Mhm.
are you ever worried that he may find you, that aspect of
Mhm.
leaving an abusive relationship?
Yeah, like right after you leave, you do have that fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean that, yeah, like I had to like get a PFA and all that stuff
Hmm.
too. So it was a process. But what helped me is like surrounding myself with my family and people that cared about me.
Yeah.
That's important.
I I commend you, because when you're looking at what you're doing now, and we're having this conversation in the very beginning, this part of your life wasn't something that I thought would be possible. You know, when it's
Yeah.
almost like when you're looking from the outside in, you can't
Right.
tell what people have gone through.
Yeah.
And so your strength and belief in God is, I'm gathering, it's a pretty big deal to
Yeah.
you. It's a big part of your life.
It is.
Can you talk to me about, like, have you ever, my wife and I are very, my wife more so than me, I'll be honest. I think God put her in my life so that I get closer to God. You know, because
No, that's good.
I have my moments where I'm like, I got problems.
It's okay.
But
Yeah.
like again, like I go back to, like, the strength of a woman, and it's the especially for women of color. I feel like growing up, all of my titis and my mom, my grandmother, it was like they had this, like, belief in God that was like, I was always in awe of it. So when I hear what you're saying, is that my, and I don't want to answer for you, my assumption is that carried you through a lot of this. Was there
Yeah.
ever a point where you were like, I got a problem with you?
Yes. Well, I was lost. Like, so how do I say? Before I met God, or like accepted Him in my
Sure.
life, I was lost. Like, I was trying to fill that void of finding love and acceptance. I mean, I used to, like, drink to
Okay.
numb the pain away. I used to just go out every weekend to just, I have no idea why I would do it. I look back now and I'm like, thank goodness I just stopped all that, you
Yeah.
know, and because it could really destroy you. Like, you know, it was just chaos, because it's like a cycle that if you let it happen, it just makes you worse. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like I said, I was trying to find just love in the wrong places, and you know, so I had my lows,
Yeah.
and then yeah, that was before I met God, or I accepted Him in my life, and then He was like, I was there the whole time.
Yeah.
When you were alone, when you felt alone, when you were down, it's like a love I've never experienced before,
Yeah.
and I feel complete, like,
Yeah.
with Him in my life now.
Yeah. It's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, life isn't perfect. It's gonna have its ups
yeah.
and downs. So we just learn. We just gotta adapt to every situation, every journey. Like, I'm in a really tough journey now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's now?
So my 20-year-old joined the military last year.
Okay, I think I remember you posting something about
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Joined the military last year. Went to boot camp and everything in January of last year. Graduated as a U.S. Marine in April.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was hard for me to see him go, because that's what he decided to do, and I was like, okay, are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, and I'm all he's got.
Yeah.
I raised him on my own. Like,
Yeah.
his father, unfortunately, was deported to Mexico
Okay.
when he was a baby, and he never saw him again,
Okay.
his father. So so he joined the military. I gave him my full support, you know, as a mom should. And
But you're watching your oldest leave
leave, grow
after
up,
all of
and
that.
just,
Yeah.
yeah. It was hard, but I felt proud, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is what he wants to do in life. So 3 months later, after he's already training and everything, combat training over in Paris Island, like in South Carolina. Um, I get a call one day that, and it was him. We actually FaceTimed, and he was like, "Mom, I haven't been feeling like myself. I don't know, like I feel sick." And I'm like, "Yeah, like I would look at him through FaceTime. I'm like, "Yeah, you do look pale. Like I don't know." Um, I'm like, "Have you got checked? Check because they have everything there for them, like hospital or clinic and stuff." So
Yeah.
he's like, and I'm always like the first one he would always call, like when something happens to him, or
Sure.
even before the military. So he's like, he FaceTimes me, and yeah, I could sense it. Like as a mom, I just knew something was not right. Like I don't know what's going on. But he said I've been throwing up, and I'm like, okay, maybe he has like a virus going on, because I know since a lot of these young men like come from all over like
Okay.
the place, they
Sure.
could be carrying like viruses and stuff. So, and they did tell me that they're like, yeah, he might get sick the first week or two in training. I'm like, okay. So I was just like, okay, well, hang in there. If you feel really, really sick, just, go to get checked. And he's like, okay, but I'm losing feeling in my hands and like half of my face. And I was like, that's when I was like,
Yeah.
okay, something's not right. Um, that's when I was like, okay, please go get checked like ASAP. And he's like, all right. I'm just like, I could see it in his face. I was like, I started crying because I'm like, oh my goodness, like, okay, I feel something's not right. So, um, we end the call, and I'm like, please go, like right now. Like you have
Yeah.
I think he was on like a break or something, and I'm like, yeah, go just or get some help. Um I'm thinking like 2 hours later I get a call from the hospital down in the military base, and it was a doctor, and he was like, ma'am, we we found like your son collapsed like over a bench. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, he was taken to emergency. Like other Marines found him, like collapsed or passed out over a
Yeah.
bench. So they picked him up and they took him straight to they got an ambulance and they took him. So um, right there, I was just like, okay, like I was like in shock mode. And the
Yeah.
doctor was like, he's with me now. And I'm really concerned about his health. Like he came here with only 2 liters of blood, and I was just like, what? I couldn't understand, like
Yeah.
process what was going on. And then he's like, well, we're getting testing done and everything, but um I don't know how they knew, but he's like, uh this is also some about his white cell count. Some he just started, you know,
Yeah.
saying all this stuff, and then he's like, "We're gonna test him for cancer," and that's when I heard that word, I'm like, "Oh, my heart just
Yeah.
sank." And yeah, so my son has been diagnosed with cancer, and it's it's in his blood, so like what he needs to get done is like a bone marrow transplant.
Okay.
Yeah. So um this whole time we've been back and forth. Like I've been back and forth to the military base in Maryland, and then he was sent to John Hopkins. So yeah, he's going to be starting treatment there. But it's such, you have to be like patient because, you know, all the testing and wow, it's been.
And I'm sure that's hard.
Yeah, it's been a hard couple months. So just 2 days ago, we got the call from Hopkins saying that I could be a possibly match for him.
Okay.
So 3 of us in the family gave blood, and they took like 3 months to do testing and stuff to see if we were a match.
Okay.
So I just got the call 2 days ago.
Okay.
And now I have to move to Maryland like next week.
Okay. So this is obviously up all of a sudden abrupt.
Yeah.
And how long are you going to be in Maryland then for this?
We don't know.
Okay.
They said months.
Okay.
So I have to like move. So I have to go for more testing next week, and then if everything's good, they're gonna go right into like surgery for the transplant.
Well, I mean, the good thing is that they found you as a match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I say too. Like, this all happened, I don't know, on time too.
Yeah.
Because my son has been like healthy since he was a baby. Like, I never had issues. Nothing that would have, like all his checkups, everything. They never mentioned anything like, you know, if he was like born with it or something like that. So this just, it's been life changing.
Yeah. So you got a lot on your plate. Yeah. This past year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as I go through this with my family, God has been like blessing me with my business. It was just like open doors, like opportunities. And I'm like, whoa, like, okay, God, like give me the strength to balance it all. Cause I mean, I'm just, Yeah,
I would think that God bless you, because my heart is hurting for you, and also I'm praying like as I'm listening to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I can't imagine.
Yeah,
You're being blessed in this regard, but also I'm sure your mind and your thoughts and your heart is elsewhere. How are you balancing that right now?
So when this first happened, you know, like this was last year, the first 2 weeks seeing him in the hospital, like in Virginia, because so it was from North Carolina. He had to be transported to Portsmouth, Virginia, to a military hospital there, like, which is like a good hospital. So this is right at when I got that call. I took like a train down there.
Okay.
So I just like flew down there to be with him.
Yeah.
So those 2 weeks were like the hardest weeks of my life, because he was in the hospital and we were just waiting for like tests to come, like answers to what just happened. How did he lose blood?
Yeah. How does that like?
There's no wounds, nothing.
That was my thought. Was like he wasn't bleeding out, so
no,
that's weird.
It was really weird. So the more there's like new research happening on him. They said they've never seen this happen to a young man at that age.
Yeah.
They've seen it happen to like 60-year-olds, you know, but this is like, they're even in shock. So they're in shock, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to like to understand.
That's not comforting. Like you're the like, people supposed to have the answers.
Yes. So, and I'm trying to like process all the information, all the medical terms, Like I have to write everything down. I have to write down every doctor we see, it's a lot. Because they say that his blood cells are like the one doctor said it was like a phenomenon that his blood cells are like bursting, popping. And I'm trying to remember like all the information, like, so all we gotta wait is just for more and more like answers, testing. But they were like, your son had 3 mini strokes when he was found like collapsed.
Okay.
He had 3 mini strokes like on the way to the hospital or something. I don't know. The one doctor was like, he shouldn't even be alive. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm like, all I can do is just thank you for keeping him here with us, you know, and that they found him on time. He was able to go to the hospital. He's gotten a total of like 16 blood transfusions.
Okay.
Because he's not producing healthy like white cells, blood cells. So something's going on. I don't know. So we're still trying to like figure it all out.
And so the game plan now is you're moving to Maryland to be there to get ready to do whatever it is you're needed to do.
Yeah, I'll become his caregiver.
Yeah. Okay. And your other children then, do you have family to help you take care of them? Because you're going to be gone now.
Yeah. I'm so thankful for my family, my brothers and my sister-in-laws. They're like, we got you. Like, we got the girls.
What's up,
So just focus on you and him, and you know, don't worry about it. Your girls will get you. You know. So I mean, I'll be probably back and forth too, just to, you know, check on them and everything. But yeah, I'm like, in the midst of it all, like God has given me this like peace, which I can't explain.
Yeah.
And he is comforting me, like letting me know that everything's gonna be okay. And in my spirit, my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you with my son's life, you know. I feel like he's been preparing me to go into battle.
Yeah.
Like I feel this is gonna be like a battle for both of us.
Yeah.
And I truly believe with all my heart, like God is gonna heal him.
Yeah.
And he's gonna have a testimony. Like,
there you go.
Yeah.
I believe that too. Just hearing you talk, I have to believe that. Why not, right? Because he has, you know, I believe in, like, you know, I had a guest on, we talked about frequencies, like, and follow me because this ties into what we're talking about, I promise. But this certain sounds and certain frequencies, how they impact your body. And I believe prayer has a frequency. That's they have studies that show that. I don't know them off the top of my head, but the reason why I bring that up is because it's like when you have people, when you pray and enough people pray, it creates enough of a frequency. And it's like, you know, that's why people say the good vibes and stuff like that. So I can imagine that, you know, with you as his mother and your family, he has a huge support system behind him. That frequency, that prayer. And God also is strong. And you're right. It gets to the point where you're like, I can't. I just give it all to you. And what can I do?
What can I do? Right.
Right.
So I'm just like, okay, just prepare me. Like, you know, give me that strength just to be there for him.
Yeah.
Mentally, because it's gonna be hard, you know. Seeing him go through it all, but yeah, I truly feel like he's giving me that peace. So I have to just be grateful for it, because I could, if it was me years ago before God, like I would have been a mess.
Yeah.
I would have been probably with like panic attacks, and
Well, yeah.
because I used to have them. Like panic attacks, depression, like my depression. Yeah, he's healed me from. Yeah, that's why I love to talk about mental health,
Yeah.
because it's real, and
1000%.
everyone goes through it differently, so yeah.
Well, and again, this goes back to like outside looking in. It's easy to look at you right now and how composed you are. But I'm sure that all of this, when it comes to your child especially, that's a blow. And so being able to just every day get up and what else can you do? Like I'm praying for you. God bless you. Like I admire and I'm in awe of your strength.
Thank you.
I feel that when you are doing what you're doing and everyone's like, wow, this is dope, you never know what someone's going through, which is pretty much like the gist of the podcast. It's like, let's talk about the nitty gritty shit. And that's really,
it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all human. We all go through things. And I consider myself like an introvert, right?
Yeah.
Like I would not have been doing this if it was.
I'm an introvert and I'm the one doing the podcast.
Really? That's awesome. So now so we can relate. Like, cause I was before, I was so shy just growing up.
Yeah.
And my art, I always just wanted my art to be seen, not me.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to know who is behind the art, right?
Yeah.
But now, see, I feel God, that's why he's like opening up opportunities and doors for me to speak. People need to see who the person is behind the art,
Yeah.
Right.
And especially like and I don't want to speak for you, but I'm sure like for a Latina, being able to be like, there's more here than what America knows of Hispanic people.
Yeah.
The stigma or the stereotypical.
Right.
There's a lot more here. And it's just like, can we relate on different levels that you may not have thought we could relate on? Yes, we can. Here's my story. Here's my journey. And so I commend you. I typically do ask, what's coming into the new year, what's your goal, what's your plan? But considering what we've just talked about, are you going into this year? Obviously, the focus is on your son. Are we just saying everything else can just sit and, like, how are you navigating that? Are you just saying, nope, the hell with it. This all goes here. My focus is on my son, and we'll deal with everything else later.
Yeah. Definitely the focus is on him now. But I am going to continue to create.
Good.
Just for me.
Yeah.
For my, this will keep me grounded, I think, too.
Yeah.
So I haven't really shared what I'm going through.
Okay.
With no one. So this is gonna like you said, impact people. Be like, oh wow, she's really going through things. But we all do. And I thank you too for having a platform like this for us to know people how they truly are.
Yeah.
What they go through,
Yeah.
But I'm gonna continue taking commissions. So like, I'll be caring for him, but then I'll be working. I let them know, hey, I am self-employed. I do have a business I have to run.
Yeah.
I let the military know and everything too. So I'm gonna just like grab my paints and my kicks and just take them with me.
There you go.
And create when I can, Yeah.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. When I wrap up my interviews, I like to ask a question. So I kind of had a question and now I'm trying to remember it. Forgive me. I'm having a brain fart. when you talk about the unique story with you, and again, I'm only hearing it within an hour, and I'm sure there's much more we can get into. But being a survivor of so much, and finding the strength. You mentioned an introvert, but then you're doing things like driving by a window front, popping in there, talking to the owner. Like, what advice would you give to somebody that may find themselves stuck because they're in their own way because of their fear? Like, what kind of advice would you give to somebody that has an idea, wants to do something, but they're in their own way because of their fear?
Just I would say just to go for it. I just learned to silence those fears, those voices of doubt, and
Yeah.
how would I say I didn't trying to find the right words to say. So I like criticism and everything, like, it's helpful to grow as a person, business and everything, but I didn't really care if
Okay.
some or people were gonna like my art or not like it.
Okay.
I was just going to show it and
Okay.
show the world what gift I have, and then it takes a lot of courage to just believe in yourself. It's a process. Not, it took me years
Yeah.
to realize, like, oh, I do have a gift, and maybe this could take me somewhere,
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would just encourage others to follow that tug in your heart, that passion, that dream, that goal you have. With baby steps, you don't have to just be like, oh, jump into something, but
Yeah.
if you have the courage to, go for it. But yeah, because I think life and your faith and God will make a way, always make a way, and place the right opportunities to be seen, to be heard. And yeah, you just got to go with it.
I like it. When you said that you did your art not caring what anybody thought, is there ever a fine line with doing the art for you and then doing the art that your following likes? Or do you always just stick to what you love? Like,
Yeah.
I would think there comes a time maybe where you kind of have to kind of like play that game of kind of going back and forth.
I've always stuck to, yeah, it's just it started out with just like a dream, I never thought it would turn into a business, so it's like a whole other like ballpark.
Yeah.
The business, yeah, I had no like prior business experience,
Yeah.
nothing. So yeah, I just learned on the way. Everything. So, but yeah, I always just stuck to that love that I had for art.
Yeah.
And yeah, trying to think.
Do you ever do art just to kind of do it for you, and it's nothing that you put out there? Just to kind of keep yourself grounded, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. And I do it too to inspire my kids to go for their dreams.
Yeah.
Since they're seeing me struggle and but always just creating. So they're like, okay, if mom can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely.
And this is a really nice example. When my son was in the hospital, I actually mentioned, I made a comment. I was like, I think I'm gonna stop creating for a little bit. And he was like, no, mom, Like, you crazy? He's like, that's you.
Yeah.
That's a part of you. You can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm worried about you. And he's like, no, mom, go back home and create something. So I went back home. I created a pair, like I designed a pair of sneakers that I had in mind to do for a while. I created it and I posted it, and it went viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. And I'm like, wait, like, okay. Like, I was just about to, like.
You were trying to pivot away from that.
Yeah.
But your son telling you really is a testament to, like, how you raised him and your impact on him.
Yeah.
Really. So that's kudos to you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, and when I told him, he was like, see what I tell you?
Right. You're like, yeah. All right.
All right. Yeah. You know me too much. Yeah. But
Cool.
yeah, that was like, I don't know. That was an experience in itself, because the power of social media, I would hear of things going viral and stuff. And
It's hard. I've never done it. So
yeah,
the fact that you've done it is pretty cool.
I remember I made like a reel.
Yeah.
Posted it on TikTok, and I just let it go. But then I started seeing my phone blow up.
Yep.
And I was like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? So I just checked, and I'm like, the numbers were like all the way up. I'm like, how many views? I don't know. Like, it was like 400K.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's awesome.
I think it's in 400K or so. And I got like, it was like 250 emails, commissions.
Really?
For
now,
that.
how do you manage that?
Yeah, for that.
Are you going through each one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But of course, like, I don't complete them all. Like, I ask for payment.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Down payment to start an order. So I think it was like 50 that I got so far.
Wow.
Done. So but they just keep coming.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna take my time. I'm only one person, creating all these. But yeah, that was an experience, and I got so much love from the West Coast. Like, never, it was just something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they love that design over there,
the
colorway. I don't know.
like again, back to how vibrant and dope it is, and yeah, man. I think what you're doing is incredible. I think your story now, sitting and talking with you, I think it's very incredible. I think it's so inspiring. When it comes time to sharing this, I look forward to it. Thank you so much for, driving an hour to be here.
No problem. Thank you.
I'm grateful. Is there anything else that you'd like to share before you wrap up? Where can they see you want to plug your website or your handles on your socials?
Yeah, my website is www.claudiasartistry.com.
I'll put that at the bottom of the screen too.
Then Facebook is Claudia's _artistry. No, not Facebook. I'm sorry. There's too many of them.
I know.
I manage like 3. Well, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Facebook, Claudia's Artistry LLC. I think I have it on the Facebook.
Think that's it,
yeah. And then Instagram is Claudia's _artistry. And TikTok is Claudia's Artistry.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna get you out there, and I don't think you need it because I think you're already out there. But cool.
Yeah, no, I'm just so grateful for the support, the love that I receive, like, daily. The messages, the commissions, the returning clients. I'm just so grateful.
Cool.
That they love what I love to do, which is create. And they admire and they respect, like, my artistry. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they should, because it's dope.
Yeah.
I love what you're doing. I'm glad we met. Claudia, thank you so much for joining me on JMC. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Wishing you all the best.
Oh, thank you very much.